I still remember the morning I couldn't stand up. I had only bent down to pick up a dropped towel, but when I tried to get up, my legs felt like wet paper. I sat there on the tatami mat, helpless, my heart pounding, not just from the effort, but from fear. I was 70 years old then. I had always thought of myself as healthy, but something was slipping away quietly. Strength, stability, confidence. That was the first time I truly understood what it means to lose muscle with age, but that was also the beginning of something else. A return, not to medicine or supplements, but to the food of my childhood. A sticky, smelly little dish that I once refused to eat, but later became the reason I could walk to the garden again, kneel to plant green onions, and even dance with my grandson on his wedding day. That food changed everything for me, and today I want to share it with you. Eat like the Japanese. Forget protein powder. This natural food stops muscle loss instantly. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from, and what time is it for you right now? Please let me know in the comments below. I truly look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. The truth about muscle loss as we age. I used to think growing old just meant getting slower. A little more time to get out of bed. A few more cracks in the knees. That was normal. But what no one warned me about was the day you look in the mirror and no longer recognize your own legs. Thin, weak, unsteady. It doesn't happen all at once. For me, it began with small things. Struggling to open jars I used to twist open without thinking. Feeling winded after climbing the same stairs I'd walked for decades. And then, one day, I couldn't carry a small bag of rice from the market without stopping halfway to rest. That's when I first heard the word sarcopenia, a slow but steady loss of muscle as we age. Doctors say it begins as early as our 30s, but most of us don't feel it until we're in our 60s or 70s, when even daily tasks begin to feel like challenges. And here's the surprising part. Even if you eat well, if your body isn't absorbing the right nutrients, and if you're not moving enough, your muscles will quietly waste away. In Japan, we have a word, karada ga ochiru. The body is falling. It doesn't just mean weight. It means strength, dignity, and the spirit to keep going. Losing muscle is not just physical. It takes a toll on the heart. But why does it seem to happen faster for some than others? I've lived in both Japan and the US, and one thing I noticed among my friends in America is this. The meals are large, full of calories, but often missing the deeper nourishment. There's plenty of protein, but not always in the form the body can actually use. At home in Japan, many older adults eat much less, but remain strong and active into their 80s and even 90s. How? That question led me to remember the way my grandparents ate. Their strength didn't come from powders or pills, but from foods so humble they were almost invisible. Foods that nourish the muscle from the inside out. That's when I began to look at my plate differently. Not just as something to fill my stomach, but as a quiet medicine. And that realization changed the course of my aging. In the next part, I'll tell you why I stopped using protein powder, and why the answer to keeping your strength might already be sitting in your fridge. Why protein powders didn't work for me and what did. When my daughter came to visit from the US, she brought with her a big plastic container. "Protein powder," she said. "You need more muscle, Papa." I smiled politely. I know she meant well. She worries. And so, the next morning, I stirred a scoop into a glass of milk and drank it down. The taste was strange, sweet and chalky, like something made in a lab. But I thought, if this is what keeps me strong, I'll do it. For the next 2 weeks, I drank that powder every morning. But instead of feeling better, I felt worse. My stomach bloated. I couldn't sleep well at night. I even noticed more joint pain. And worst of all, I didn't feel stronger. I felt tired. I began to wonder, is this really the best we can do? In Japan, we rarely use supplements. Growing up, our strength came from the foods we ate every day. Simple meals, prepared with care, passed down through generations. We didn't have powders or pills. We had miso soup, natto, grilled fish, steamed rice, pickled vegetables, small portions, big nourishment. There is a word in Japanese, shokuiku. It means food education. It's not just about knowing what to eat. It's about understanding how food becomes part of who we are, how it affects our mood, our movement, our sleep, and our spirit. Protein powders might have protein, yes, but they don't have life. They don't connect us to our families. They don't warm the hands or stir the memory. They don't carry stories. Natto does. That's when I remembered. When I was a boy, my grandfather ate natto every morning. He lived to be 97. I can still picture him stirring the sticky beans with chopsticks until they formed long threads, counting 100 times before placing it on his rice. He was strong until the very end. So I stopped the protein powder. I went to the market and bought a small pack of natto. I ate it plain at first, then with rice, then with mustard, chopped green onions, and a raw egg, just like my grandfather. And something began to shift. Not all at once, but gently. My digestion improved. I slept through the night. I had more energy to go on walks again. And soon, when I looked at my legs in the mirror, they didn't seem so thin. I had found my way back, not just to health, but to something deeper. A way of eating that had kept generations of Japanese people strong, long before supplements ever existed. Natto, the strange little food that saved my strength. If you've never heard of natto, let me warn you, it's not love at first bite. Sticky, stringy with a smell that reminds many of old cheese. When I was young, I hated it. I would cover my nose at breakfast whenever my father opened the little styrofoam box. He'd laugh and say, "One day, you'll understand." That day came much later. Natto is made from fermented soybeans. It's been a part of Japanese breakfasts for centuries, especially in rural towns like the one I grew up in. We didn't have much, but we had natto. It was cheap, full of protein and, though I didn't know it then, a quiet powerhouse for health. After I turned 70 and began losing strength, I gave it another try. My hands were shaky as I stirred the beans with my chopsticks. The smell was still there. So was the stickiness. But when I took that first bite, warm rice underneath, a bit of mustard on top, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Comfort, memory, and strangely, hope. I began eating natto every morning, not as a side dish but as my main medicine. Within a few weeks, I noticed the difference. I had more energy to move. I didn't feel so stiff in the mornings, and the swelling in my ankles started to go down. But what is it about this odd little food? Science is only now catching up to what Japanese elders have known for generations. Natto contains vitamin K2, which helps calcium bind to bones, keeping them strong and less prone to fracture. Kinase, an enzyme that supports healthy blood flow, reducing clot risks, and most importantly for me, leucine, a key amino acid that directly helps the body build and maintain muscle. Unlike protein powders, which often pass through the body too quickly, the protein in natto is slow releasing. The fermentation process also means your gut can absorb nutrients more efficiently. It's not just what you eat, it's what your body can use. But natto didn't just change my health, it changed how I felt inside. Every morning, as I stir the beans 100 times, just like my grandfather, I feel connected. To him, to my roots, to the younger version of me that ran barefoot through rice fields, with legs full of strength and a heart full of freedom. Now, I smile when I open the box and smell that strong scent. It no longer bothers me. In fact, I welcome it. Because that smell means healing. That smell means home. And I wish, deeply, that more people, especially in America, would discover this little miracle from Japan. Not as a trendy food, not as a challenge on a cooking show, but as a quiet companion in aging with dignity. How to eat natto the Japanese way, for strength and joy. People often ask me, but how do you eat something so strange every morning? I smile when they ask, because to me, natto isn't strange anymore. It's familiar, almost sacred. But I understand. The texture, the smell, even the look. It takes a little getting used to. That's why how we prepare and eat it makes all the difference. In Japan, we don't just eat natto, we honor it. Every morning, I begin with a quiet routine. I sit down before my small tray, nothing fancy, just a bowl of warm barley rice, a miso soup, a few pickled vegetables, and a pack of natto waiting to be opened. This is a moment of stillness, a ritual that grounds me before the day begins. First, I stir the natto, not just a few times, at least 100. That's what my grandfather taught me. Stirring activates the fermentation, making the texture smoother and increasing the health benefits. As I stir, I breathe. I think of the fields where the soybeans were grown. I think of my wife's hands, which once prepared this very same breakfast for me every single day for 45 years. Then I add a few things, each with a purpose. A dash of soy sauce, a spoonful of finely chopped green onions, a bit of karashi, Japanese mustard, to wake up the senses. Sometimes I crack in a raw egg, very common in Japan, and gently mix it in. The heat of the rice slightly warms the mixture, bringing it to life. When I eat natto this way, I don't rush. I chew slowly. We have a saying in Japan, chew your food 30 times before swallowing. It's not just for digestion, it's for awareness. With each bite, you feel more connected to your body. We also follow harahachibu, a principle from Okinawa, meaning eat until you're 80% full. It teaches us to stop before we're stuffed, giving the body room to breathe and process. And we never eat alone when we can help it. Breakfast, even for the elderly, is often a shared experience in Japan. At community centers, neighbors gather for morning meals. In homes, husbands and wives quietly share rice and tea. There is no TV, no rushing, just the sounds of chopsticks, the warmth of soup, and the comfort of togetherness. Eating natto this way has become more than just nutrition. It's a kind of therapy, a meditation, a return to the center. You may live far from Japan. You may never have tried natto before, but you can still bring this spirit into your mornings. You can create a quiet breakfast. You can chew with care. You can greet the day with a grateful heart. Because when you eat with presence, even the strangest food becomes a friend. Gentle Japanese-style movement that brings food to your muscles. After breakfast, I never go back to bed. Even in winter, even when my knees ache a little, I rise, I put on my softest slippers, and I step outside, just for a short walk. 10, maybe 15 minutes. But this little walk taken right after breakfast, has become one of the most important parts of my day. In Japan, we have a saying, Asa no hikari wa tamashii o meguraseru. The morning light awakens the soul. We believe in the healing power of gentle movement, especially for older bodies. Not long runs, not heavy lifting, just soft, intentional motions that tell the muscles, I'm still here, I still need you. In my neighborhood in Kyoto, it's common to see elderly couples walking together at dawn, some with canes, some with little dogs. Many stop to stretch under cherry trees or do simple exercises passed down for generations. One of my favorites is a deep breathing practice called Fukushiki Kokyu, diaphragmatic breathing. Standing tall, hands on the belly, you breathe in slowly through the nose, feeling the stomach expand, and exhale gently through the mouth. This type of breathing calms the nervous system, brings oxygen deep into the body, and most importantly, it wakes up the core muscles, the ones that protect our spine and help us balance. Another movement I swear by is so simple, yet so powerful. Sitting down and standing up. I use a chair, no arms. I stand tall, lower myself slowly until I'm seated, then rise again, without using my hands if I can help it. I started with 5 repetitions. Now I do 10 each morning. It strengthens the thighs, hips, and back, and reminds my legs that they are still needed. Here's something I've learned. It's not how hard you train. It's how often you move. When you eat natto in the morning, your body receives the building blocks for muscle. But if you sit all day, those building blocks have nowhere to go. Gentle movement tells your body, use what you've been given. That's when real change happens. When I began doing this, eating natto, walking in the morning light, breathing deeply, standing and sitting with intention, I didn't just grow stronger, I grew more present, more grateful. I used to think aging meant shrinking, becoming smaller, more invisible. But now I understand. Aging can also mean becoming deeper, fuller, more rooted in your own body. You don't have to join a gym. You don't need special clothes. You just need a little space, a little discipline, and the willingness to move with care. The space around you shapes the strength within you. Lessons from Japanese homes. Long before I learned about vitamins or muscle fibers, I learned how to live in a space that keeps you strong. In Japan, our homes are not designed for convenience. They are designed for presence. We sit on the floor, not chairs. We sleep on futons that we roll out at night and put away in the morning. And many of us, even in old age, still kneel to prepare tea, still reach to hang clothes outside, still sweep our own front steps each morning. These small actions, repeated every day, keep our bodies moving naturally, bending, stretching, standing, kneeling. Without thinking of it as exercise, we train our strength through life itself. When I was 75, I visited my cousin in the US for the first time. Her home was beautiful. Soft carpets, plush sofas, tall beds, but I noticed something. She didn't move much. Everything was designed to minimize effort. No need to bend, no reason to squat, no stairs to climb, and over time, her body grew still. Comfort, I realized, can become a quiet thief. At home in Japan, my house is small, but it keeps me alive. Every morning I kneel to prepare tea. I stand to open the sliding paper doors. I sit cross-legged to eat my breakfast, and I rise slowly, using my legs, not my hands. Even cleaning becomes a form of movement. We sweep with long-handled brooms. We wipe floors with cloths, not mops. My wife used to say, "A clean floor makes a strong back." She was right. And beyond movement, there is something else, a sense of calm. Japanese homes are uncluttered. We believe in ma, the space between things. Not empty space, but meaningful space, breathing space. When your home is peaceful, your body softens, stress eases, and when your mind is quiet, your muscles recover better. It's all connected. Studies now show what we have known all along, that a simple, organized, peaceful home reduces inflammation, lowers blood pressure, and improves mobility in older adults. You don't need to change everything. Just open a window, sit on the floor sometimes, remove what you don't need. Create space to move, to breathe, to live. Your home is not just where you grow old. It can be where you grow strong. How to bring natto into your American kitchen. Simple ways to begin. I understand. Natto may feel far away. It comes from Japan. It smells strong. It looks sticky. And maybe you're wondering, how could I ever make this part of my life here in America? Let me tell you, you can. And it's easier than you think. These days, many Asian supermarkets across the US carry natto in the frozen section. Sometimes it's tucked away, next to the dumplings or frozen edamame. Look for small, styrofoam packs, often in sets of 3. If you're unsure, ask someone working there. Say, "Natto sha slowly," with a smile. Most will understand. And if you don't have a local store, don't worry. You can order natto online. Some companies even ship it with ice packs, so it arrives fresh. It's more common than it used to be, because more people are waking up to its quiet power. When you first try natto, begin simply. Defrost 1 pack overnight in the fridge. In the morning, open it gently. There may be a small packet of mustard and soy sauce inside. Add those, or try your own mix. Then stir. Stir a lot. Stir until it looks creamy and stringy. This is the good part. Eat it over warm rice. Or try it with scrambled eggs, avocado toast, or even mixed into oatmeal. I know that sounds unusual, but natto blends well when you give it a chance. It's not about copying a Japanese breakfast exactly, it's about bringing the wisdom of it into your rhythm. If the smell bothers you at first, try mixing in chopped green onions or a spoonful of kimchi. It helps. And after a while, you may even come to love that scent. It grows on you, like miso or old books or the earth after rain. Now, if you truly cannot find natto, don't worry. You can still eat in a way that supports your muscles. Look for fermented soy foods like tempeh from Indonesia or even miso soup. Choose whole soybeans like edamame or tofu. These don't replace natto fully, but they carry some of the same goodness. They are kind to the body, gentle on digestion, and full of protein your body can actually use. But beyond the food, there is something else, the ritual. Even if you live alone, prepare your breakfast with care. Sit down, give thanks, chew slowly, breathe. That is how we eat in Japan. That is how food becomes nourishment. In Japan, before every meal, we say, "Itadakimasu, I humbly receive." It's more than a custom. It's a moment of quiet thanks for the food, the hands that prepared it, and the life that sustains our own. As I grow older, this simple act means more to me. These days, I move slower. I eat slower. I rise with care and rest when needed. But I don't see that as weakness. I see it as a different kind of strength, the kind that comes from living with presence. Aging, to me, is not something to fight. It's something to embrace. You don't need to be fast to be strong. You don't need to be young to be vibrant. In Japan, many of us live long, not because we chase youth, but because we walk with it gently. We eat with balance, move with intention, and give thanks every day. That's what natto has given me. Not just protein, but presence. Not just health, but harmony. You may be far from Japan, but you can bring this spirit into your life. Start small, eat slowly, breathe deeply, and give thanks for your body, your breath, and this moment. Because the slow life is the strong life. So now, you know my story. From a moment of helplessness on the tatami floor to quiet mornings with natto, movement, and gratitude, I've found my strength again. Not through powders or pills, but through food that connects, traditions that ground, and a way of living that honors each breath. You don't have to do everything at once. Just begin. One small change, one mindful meal, one gentle walk. Your body is wiser than you think. It remembers how to heal. It only needs your kindness. Thank you for sharing this time with me. If you're still watching, I am deeply grateful. It means you care, not just about living longer, but about living well. Before you go, I'd love to know, what part of this story stayed with you? Have you ever tried natto? Or are you curious to begin? Please share in the comments below. I read each one, and if this brought something warm to your heart, I invite you to subscribe so we can keep walking this journey together. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. And remember, there is strength in softness and healing in the smallest things.